Welcome back here with another video. Today, I want to tell you specifically, don't be afraid of your desires, of your wants. Put yourself out there, right? And when I say that, I mean, a lot of people think that it's either all kind of like law of attraction stuff. You're holding a vibration, you're having all these thoughts, you're having all these positive feelings, and magically things are supposed to happen for you. Now, I will say this, that when you're attentive and aware, like I mentioned with the Tony Robbins experiment where he has people look around. He says, look for blue, 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 look for blue. And then he says, tell me everything that was red after they close their eyes, and they can't think of anything that was red. But anything that was even slightly blue, even off blue, they'll they'll rattle off a bunch of things. So it's important that when you are in a certain state of mind, that you are more attuned to things in the environment that would reflect that state of mind, but you still have to do things, engage with the world in order for you to go through whatever process would occur for you to end up where you would want to end up. And that ending point is just a temporary ending point until there's like a new point, right? So point being is it's not just one or the other, it's both, right? So you're using your mind, right? Your heart, your connection with God, with the universe, and your actions, right? All of these things are required, right? This kind of like reciprocal thing, right? Your feelings, or you're kind of like mediating with your feelings, and you're going through an internal process, but you can't just be stuck in that loop. You have to engage, you have to do things eventually. Like you could have all the right frames and all the right, but if you just kind of sit at home, nothing's going to happen, right? And that goes without saying. If you just sit at home, nothing is going to happen unless you actually do stuff. So technically, you can be sitting at home and like working on your computer and like looking at different opportunities, but you're still like actively doing things and trying stuff, right? Taking action. So yeah, I mean, keep that in mind. Both are absolutely required. And when I say this in my previous videos, I don't mean to take a crap on the law of attraction. It's just that the way it's communicated is just it seems very one-sided and empty. You know what I mean? And it's just very shallow manifestation, just very shallow. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about as far as hearing other people talk about the law of attraction in this particular way. So keep that in mind, is that you got to put yourself out there. That's what I said at the beginning of this video, which means that you're combining one with the other. You're saying, okay, so what do I want from life? What do I want for myself? What desires do I want? What kind of relationship do I want? What kind of career do I want? What kind of, like, how am I supposed to find my purpose? How do I be financially free? How do I have the ability to create the life I want? Got to put yourself out there. So you're basically constructing this kind of like vision, and then you're putting yourself out there. So keep that in mind, is that you're putting yourself out there simultaneously coming up with and writing things down as far as your your plans, right? Your plans. And it's not necessarily just like a vision board. Like a lot of people say a vision board. I've never done a vision board. I don't know a lot of people who have done. I know there are some people, and I've actually heard stories, like direct stories from people that I've spoken to personally, physically. There's one guy who used to be my neighbor. He told me that his sister had a vision board, and literally everything that she wanted to accomplish on that vision board, she accomplished. But then my mom, on the other hand, which is an interesting story, I never mentioned the story, is that when she came to the country, she had one piece of paper, and she basically wrote all of her plans, everything that she wanted to do, the money, this, all the moves that she wanted to make. And she wrote it down, and she told me that she wrote it down on one piece of paper and she never looked at it again. And everything that she wrote down, she accomplished, right? The common denominator is what? These two things. It's not just the writing, but it's the doing, right? She actually had to, go through sleepless nights to go through courses at the bank, to be able to speak to people, network with people, work really hard, have a life that was very, very unbalanced for a long period of time. So it's not like she just sat there and the person with the vision board just kind of sits there, right? So it's important to take action in the world, to put yourself out there. And also keep one thing in mind, is if it doesn't happen for you right away, don't despair. It's okay. I mean, you can't, it's not like if you don't make it to the World Cup the first time you start playing soccer, you stop playing, right? That's not how it works. It's not like you start doing something, and if you're not at the professional level, if you're not winning World Cups and playoff games with within the first few, months, few years of you doing that thing, do you just stop playing even though you love it? No, I mean, you're alive, right? The point is, like, you're alive. What better like, what else do we have to do with our lives other than to try to, like, improve ourselves, improve the lives for people around us, our family, for our friends, for our communities? That's it. Like, there's nothing better to do in life. Like, I can't think of anything else better to do with your life. Now, of course, you want to have time to, like, recharge and learn about things, and perhaps you want to travel, and you want to, yeah, you want to, like, fill your mind with, like, experiences, and you want to learn about different cultures, recharge yourself. All that is of course very important. It's the other side of the equation, right? It's like you're using the battery, right? You're using your battery, but then you got to recharge the battery. You can't just use it forever, right? We're rechargeable batteries. We have to basically recharge ourselves. But yeah, I mean, you got to be intentional, right? A battery is constructed in a particular way in order for it to be operational. So if you want yourself to be operational, you have to kind of, like, construct yourself in a specific way and then use the battery, right? You got to use yourself, use the energy that you have, and then recharge whenever necessary. So this was like a little bit of a more philosophical, I think, video. It was less tangible, but I think it should give you, like, a certain level of motivation for you to just go out there, do stuff, come up with a plan. You write things down, record voice memos, right? Meditate, contemplate about your life, then record it. You could do a vision board. You could do whatever is working for you as far as your process. Take care of your body, take care of your mind. And as you do things, don't expect things to happen immediately, because that isn't how life works, right? It's not how life works. When you become really good at anything, it takes a really long time. And if you want to see any kind of results, sometimes it takes a really long time. Bill Gates was apparently in his parents' basement developing IBM for 10 years before he even launched it. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't think too much about the fact that you have to get it perfect, right? If you look at the stories of all the people in the past who've achieved XYZ thing, whatever that happens to be, whether it's oriented towards the community or finances or building a company or conquering lands or whatever. It's not just like something that happens by itself immediately overnight. They had assistance from other people, or they put in a tremendous amount of work. They did a lot of things, right? They consumed information, they studied it, they figured out what to do, and sometimes it could take a very long time. Sometimes it could take a very long time. And sometimes, people in the past, like Socrates, they died with basically no money, right? And I don't know if you know exactly how Socrates was persecuted, but he was spreading too much knowledge in the city of Athens, and they decided to put him to death, right? They gave him an ultimatum. They said, either you leave town, or you are going to have to drink this strychnine and effectively put yourself to death. And his conscience told him that he couldn't leave, he couldn't run away. So he decided to take that punishment. The punishment was of what? Spreading knowledge. So even in the most, like, altruistic sense, you could even look at the story of Jesus. In the most, like, altruistic, the most altruistic person can suffer a fate that seems unjust or unfair, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that their life wasn't worth it. Of course it was worth it. I mean, look what was created. So make sure that, as you're doing things in your life, you're doing things in such a way where you're using whatever gifts that you have to the best of your ability, right? You're basically taking your potential and you're trying to manifest it in some way or another. Don't expect it to be manifest immediately, right? Just like that, in one fell swoop. It'll take some time, right? You'll have to maybe test different things if you don't know exactly what you want. And if you're maybe young right now and you don't know what your path is, maybe it'll take a couple of years, maybe it'll take a decade, but it doesn't mean in the meantime that you can't have amazing experiences, amazing adventures. You can't have the adventure of your life along the way, right? You still can, but it's about having the right frame around how you're living that's going to allow you to kind of, like, alleviate the anxiety, alleviate the suffering, alleviate the depression and the, despair, so that way you can you can keep your mind a little bit sharper, a little bit more attuned to what's required. But keep one thing in mind is that whatever you're experiencing is there to help you in some way, right? So it's not like these emotions, you should run away from them or try not to feel them, right? Because they are going to teach you something and you are going to feel those things. You're going to feel rage. You're going to feel vengeance. You're going to feel sadness, despair. You're going to feel hopelessness. You're going to feel anxiety. And you may be feeling it right now. And you maybe have been feeling these things for years. But the point is that you want to generate a high level of awareness over anything that you're doing and whatever you're going through. So that way you basically know what to do, right? Okay, what am I doing? Like, am I going deeper into this? Is it teaching me something? Am I overlooking something? Am I neglecting a responsibility? Is there somebody that I have to talk to? Do I have to make penance? Do I have to make amends with somebody? Am I holding some kind of grudge? Is this person holding me down? Is it this boss? And I feel like I just can't be free here, and I need to change a like change a change my career. Do I need to go to a different place and find out what else I can do? Like, it's about really asking yourself questions and finding out, based off of where you are, what kind of questions can you ask so that you can use whatever you're going through as like as a not a tool. The experience itself is the evolution, right? So you want to be able to create a level of awareness where the experience itself becomes the evolution to whatever is next, right? And sometimes that can require you kind of like going through a down period until you can, go back up. It's kind of like a springboard, right? Right? You're coming down. It's like a trampoline, and the spring is being compressed, and then it kind of like explodes, and then you kind of bounce on the next spring, compresses, and then it kind of goes up. So again, don't really focus too much on your life being like fantastic all the time, because it's very unlikely that it will be. So the best that you can do is just use this in the right way so that you can actually take the right actions, and and hopefully this video is going to help you in some way. I know it's not like my other videos that are kind of like more structured, but I just woke up Sunday morning, and I feel like this kind of needed to be said in one way or another. So anyway, I hope that was helpful, and I'm going to leave it there. And if you have any questions, comments, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'll see you soon.